Hi everyone. This video is an introduction to perspective drawing systems in general and more specifically one-point perspectives. So we'll start out with an overview of drawing systems in general and how perspective drawings fit in with the others. And then we'll go into some specific perspective drawing terms, a little vocabulary lesson today. All right. Then moving on to one-point perspective drawing system in particular, we'll talk about what it is, some examples from real life, and take you through the system step by step, finishing up with a discussion of proportion within this perspective system. So you've seen this slide before of different drawing systems. Each of these different drawing systems provide alternate ways to think about and represent a physical object or a design that we see and envision in our minds. In this class, we've talked about orthographic projections and paraline drawings such as isometric and oblique. And then now we're moving on to the perspective section of our course. Perspective drawings are experiential views and they depict an optical reality as opposed to the orthographic and paraline, which were very constructed. All right. Perspective drawings can be more difficult and challenging to construct because of that reality. Let's talk a little bit more about this difference between experiential and objective views. Perspective drawings assume there's an observer. All right, someone's eye or camera eye located at a specific point in space and looking in a particular direction. Right. Multi-view paraline drawings don't have any reference to the point of view of an observer. Right. So you can see the difference in these two sketches of the same design. The one on the left is from a specific observed point. All right. And the one on the right doesn't have any reference to a particular camera angle, camera view. So then perspective is the drawing system where the object is not drawn as it actually is, okay, but it's drawn as it appears from the point of view of an observer. Let's move on to some perspective drawing vocabulary. And the first word is subject. The subject refers to the particular object or the scene that we are drawing in our composition. All right, it can be one item. In this example, the subject is the apple. All right, or it can be a complex scene such as a landscape painting, or in the previous slide, there was a plaza view. Our next term is horizon line. In this example, it's this big red line. The horizon line is the point at which the sea and the sky meet, or perhaps the flat land, as in this example, and the sky. Viewing point. Every object is going to appear different when viewed from various angles. The viewing point is going to be a straight line from our eye to the horizon line. And then if we move from the left to the right or up and down as compared to our subject, we're changing the viewing point for our drawing. The horizon line, the true horizon line, is always going to be at eye level. And it will change in your composition as you change the elevation of view. So as your horizon line moves up or down, all right, your eye level moves up or down. Let's give an example here. On the top, we have a picture with a low elevation of view. You can see that it is matching the eye level of this seated person. All right, and there's great emphasis placed on some of the vertical elements in this particular composition. Okay, and take a look at our path. It's nearly flat. Okay, not much emphasis on it. Here is our typical or normal elevation of view at a standard human eye height. All right, this is really, really common. And you can see that it is a balanced composition, all right, with equal emphasis placed on some of our horizontal objects and some of our vertical objects. And finally this scene is repeated again with a high elevation of view. They've moved the horizon line up, all right, and it's represented by this person standing up high, all right. And you can see that there's in this drawing, there's much more emphasis placed on our horizontal elements, such as this path, and less on the elements that are actually vertical. Right? You do not have to have an actual person standing in your composition or seated or standing on stairs. All right, this is all in the way that you lay out and construct the drawing. Our next term is picture plane. The picture plane is a plane that's used to record our drawing or picture that the eye sees. You can think of it as a sheet of glass, all right? And then the observer is marking out on the glass exactly what their eye sees. So here is our observer, okay? And you can directly trace a ray from their eye to the different points on this building, all right? And it should hit this pane of glass at a particular place. All right, you can trace those out and create a perspective drawing. Let's talk about a vanishing point next. The vanishing point is a spot on the horizon line right here to which all the receding parallel lines diminish. For example, these rows in the field and these fences. All right. As things get further away from us, they seem smaller and closer together. And when they get far enough away, all right, the distances become so tiny that they form a single point. That's the vanishing point. Imaginary lines along the side of your object, for example, this is a table, will meet at a vanishing point. The horizon line will always pass through the vanishing point. They go together. All right. Any other lines that are parallel, okay, to these, for example, table side lines will also meet at the same vanishing point on the horizon line. For example, on the right-hand side, this other table. The use of this vanishing point helps give us the illusion of depth. If you look at this particular table from one end, we can notice that the far end appears to be smaller, all right, than the near end. We know that they're actually the same width, but due to the perspective, we see a viewing difference. All right, so we covered what perspective drawing systems in general are, and you just learned a whole lot of perspective vocabulary. In the next video, we're going to focus in on one specific system and talk about one-point perspectives.